Lastly, I want to cover what is considered a big story, and I like what Jodie Foster herself is saying. Yes, I'm going to go there because she is supporting and bolstering the exact point that I have made when it comes to society and what they consider deviant sexual behaviors. Jodie Foster is gay, and it's none of your business. Although, if I may be fair, looking at her pictures, she looks very beautiful, but that's as far as I'm going to go with that. When Golden Globes ceremony reached its celebration of Jodie Foster, the recipient of this year's CCB DeMille Award for Lifetime Achievement, the montage of clips from Contact to Nell was predictable. What was not predictable was Foster's acceptance speech. At once charming, forthright, swerving, a little unhinged, and strangely elegant. In it, Foster thanked all of the usual colleagues up front, but then she quickly moved into a more personal register in which, through making a joke about her new status as a single lady, she kind of, sort of, maybe a little bit, came out of the closet. Actually, she did come out of the closet, but so what? Annoyingly, the internet quickly went bananas trying to decide if Jodie Foster's statement was militant enough to count. And so I was pleased when she went on to eloquently explain just why her romantic life should be none of your business. Of course, as anyone has been following Foster's career knows, she's been essentially unguarded about her lesbianism for some time. At least, as BuzzFeed points out, since acknowledging her lifelong partner in 2007. But she was never made an outright political statement of sort, increasingly popular among gay celebrities today. In her speech, Foster seems to take issue with the expectations from the LGBT activists and elsewhere that simply because she's a public figure, her personal life is anyone's business but those with whom it directly intersects. I already did my coming out back in the Stone Age, she said. In those very quaint days when a fragile young girl would open up to a trusted friend and family and coworkers, and then gradually and proudly to everyone who knew her, to everyone she actually met. Then she bemoaned the decline of this kind of privacy, pointing out that when you've been in the public eye as long as she has, a monochrome of the stuff is required to keep you sane. I say we let her have it. As far as I'm concerned, as long as a gay person haven't been actively pretending to be straight, like a number of people in that hall tonight are probably doing, I think she is required, or she, I don't think she is required to be an activist or even a role model for younger LGBT people if she doesn't wish to be. It is, of course, wonderful when big names like Zachary Quinto and Anderson Cooper have the courage to give up their hetero privilege in the public pronouncement, and undoubtedly the increasing recognition that so many of our culture makers are gay has the power to challenge perceptions. You can read the rest of the article, links down in the underbar. So in a way, she bolstered my opinion, and in another way, she went after the activists who seem to be big about putting people onto pedestals to say, see, they're gay. We should be okay because they're gay. Which, to a degree, I kind of have to agree. My girl's sisters are gay. This is no secret to the people who know them, so I'm not outing anybody. This is no secret, and most of you don't even know who my girlfriend is or who her family is, so does it matter? And at times, from what I hear from her as well as from what I've seen from them myself, they can act like they've got to flaunt their homosexuality in a way that at times does cross the line. And I'm not saying it's right when either side does it. Don't get me wrong. In fact, I'm going to get to that part of this talk as well when we get there. I'm not one of these people who's like, well, why can't they just stay in the closet? Or why can't they just stay behind closed doors? I'll tell you why that's such a stupid notion, amongst other things. But, she's right. Sometimes the community takes it too far. And I don't think that it's unreasonable for them to be reasonable themselves about their own activism, about who they recruit, why they recruit, and if they recruit. Because for some people, it's not a big deal. The amazing Randy of the James Randi Foundation is gay. Does that change my perception of him? No. Should it change your perception of him? No. He's not shy about it, but he doesn't go out and just say, hello, world. I'm just fabulous today. And no, I'm not meaning to stereotype, so I hope people don't take offense. I'm just simply trying to say, using the stereotypes that antis and bigots use, that Mr. Randy himself isn't just out there being ostentatious or anything that some homosexuals can be. And personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with how a homosexual chooses to carry himself, whether ostentatiously or otherwise. But I digress. You guys have enough problems, the LGBT community, on your hands, other than trying to recruit people who you think might be good for the cause. Did you ever stop to think that individuality matters? That maybe if they want to be an activist, they'll be an activist. You know? Plus, you've got discrimination amongst your ranks. You have, uh, you have gays who are discriminatory and downright vicious to the bisexual communities. You have gays who are absolutely disgusting and abhorrent and bigoted towards trans. You guys are suspect to the same exact treatment, and yet you would turn around and make enemies with the people you should be making friends with because frankly, you're not immune, and I recognize that, but you're not immune from human nature. Being gay, just like being vegan or being anything else, does not make you better than anybody else. Not morally, not ethically, not anythingly. You do not have the right to act as if you have the right to be hateful, to be a bigot, when you have been subject to it yourselves. But I digress. I'm getting off on a rant here. The other part I wanted to make is this part that she made about the press. How they want to bring it out, that this has to be paraded out. And that's my answer to it. You wonder why, and I'm not saying it's not good if gays are out in the open sort of thing, but you wonder why they have a parade. You wonder why they're not relegated to closets and bedrooms and closed doors. Because you kicked in the closed door. You made it an issue. You made this one of many witch hunts where it has to say, oh, there's evil afoot, and we are going to find it if we have to wreck the privacies of each and every one of the citizens of our country to do so. Because we're in such bad, dire straits. So somebody must be committing a homosexual act somewhere, and we've got to find out where and stop it, because that's an affront to God, and that's what's happening in this world. Instead of realizing that we have personal responsibility and free will, that maybe we've screwed things up, and maybe we've made bad things happen to good people. But oh no, we can't do that. But we've made people's sexuality into something that has to be paraded around, something that has to be announced. And in some cases, we have it where if they want to announce their sexuality, such as people who are of a pedophilic sexuality, such as pedophile homosexual, pedophile heterosexual, so on and so forth, that coming out means that they must be arrested for a crime that they may not have even committed yet. They have to be jailed until we feel that they are sufficiently cured enough of their ailment to be let out. and that they must make themselves known so that they can make themselves presentable and ready for lynch mobs who will assume every part of these people's lives and want to kill them whether they've ever committed a crime or not, based off of fear, assumption, and nothing else. You know, I used to sadly be in that part. I used to think the ways that most of you out there have thought for a long time. Then somebody challenged me to do research, which is on my front page, on my channel page, and made me have to rethink my entire approach to everything. And was I being fair to people who I didn't know anything about? You better bet I was. And I even, to a small degree, for a long time, did it to the gays because I didn't know any better. I had no exposures to gays. My home life wasn't anti gay, but my community was. That's like another reason why I'm glad I got out of that Colorado community because they were turning me into something I was not. And once I met people, once I was exposed to it, once I realized that there's nothing different between being gay and being heterosexual, and once I had family friends who had the same psycho X that I had, only in male form, I realized their relationships aren't much different than ours. They are not a threat. They are nothing to be worried about. They are nothing that is going to affect you unless you want to make it affect you. You turned it into an issue and now you're wondering, why is this an issue? Because you made it one. If you had left well enough alone and understood that it's okay to be gay, as long as it's done responsibly, as long as it's done consensually, and no children are involved or witness or participant, then it's none of your business. If I, for instance, participate in BDSM with my girlfriend and she asks for it and I give it to her, is that any business of yours? If I do things that are considered deviant, but I do it responsibly, safely, consensually, and without the involvement or witness of children, what business is it of yours? You know, this doesn't just go for homosexuality, though that is a big proponent of it. My sexuality and what I'm doing in the bedroom is none of your business until, at the very least, it actually harms somebody or harms a child. And since neither of those things are going on here, I'm not going to parade around what I do, even though I am trying to make this into a more sexually open, sexually free society where people aren't shamed simply because they're having sex.